How do you go about doing a demo, especially if you're used to doing demos with send out cards and you want to use the browser, you want to use the desktop version, but you also want to show people how they can do it on their phone. So we're going to run that through real quickly, how you go about doing that. For starters, it's wonderful if you have a website or even if you have a single page. I wanted to share with you folks how I've been using send out cards lately. And that is, I have a link directly to my website. And on the website, you'll see this card that one of my friends got. And one of the things you can do is when somebody sends you a picture, it's like, hey, thanks for the card. You want to put that up there and then use your name here. I got your card. So-and-so, I got your card. And then I have a little form here. I've had 18 people sign up to get cards from me just because of this one page on my website. Now you may be like, yeah, but Janine, those aren't customers. I'm like, they're not customers yet. But what they don't know is I'm going to send them this "you're on mute" card. And then on the back of it, I have a request that they take a selfie, and I'll continue to build out that page with all those pictures of them. And then they go on my $8 a year plan, which is I have a campaign that I have pre-built out that has 12 cards that go out once a month automatically. And eventually those people will become customers of mine. I have met all these people on networking events. They've requested to do one-to-ones with me. And as a business owner, I'm talking to a fellow business owners. And those people usually are the ones that come around and say, hey, how do I do what you're doing? Sometimes it takes 2 years, but it's worth the price for me. So Cynthia wants to know, how do we go about doing a demo on send out cards? So I will be happy to show you here. You get onto your send out card program. So let me move off the website. I do this, I go on my phone. This is what the app looks like. And then I'll actually put an image up on my screen of what the app looks like. And they'll go, okay. And I'll go download that on Google Play. And I sit there with them. Like, I don't let them go off until we've walked through all of this. And so then I'll say, okay, click the app. And then it'll come up, right? And yeah, right now it says server error, but I'll say, click the app. Okay, say how it has build your own, my cards, blah, blah, blah. And I'll talk with them through that. I always do the well wishes. I always have them go to well wishes because there's almost always somebody in their family or something that they just want to send a brighten their day type of card. And so I always go to well wishes, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, they're building out a card on the phone, but literally I do brute force. I just show them like this.
I may just do that. That's, you know what, I can't believe I didn't think of that, but that's actually brilliant.
Right, because you ask them to put you up on speaker view on Zoom. That way you're really big. And that way when you put your camera up to the phone, you know, it's really big on their screen. First started sending cards, I was not in the business to create a team, even though you have that option with send out cards. I was using it as follow-up for my business. And I'm lazy when it comes to follow-up, and I'm very easygoing. I have a quirky sense of humor, as you can tell by the, and so I wanted to express all of that creativity in my follow-up. I wanted people to know what kind of person they were dealing with. So the systems, these are the systems I have for sending cards. I had 4 hours a week where I would nurture my business, and I nurtured it in such a way that pretty soon I was giving presentations to all of these MLM organizations because they were so impressed with the systems that I had built for my follow-up. It all stems from working on your business, not in your business. Now, when you're working on your business, there are 4 hours a week from the 60s and 70s back in the M-Ways area, where they used to say you prospect for an hour, you follow up for an hour, close the deal for an hour, you work with people closing deals, and then for an hour a week, you are training yourself. Well, in this modern era, it's not about closing deals, it's about reconnecting with people. You're just connecting. You're not trying to close them. You're just staying in touch with them. You're connecting with them. And you do this 4 hours a week. Now, I've had some people that go, but Janine, I need more than 4 hours a week. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. But you start, you start with 4 hours a week. When you're working in your business, that's when you are actually sending cards, or like in my case, when I'm working in my business, I'm teaching classes, I am talking to students, I'm doing online things. One of the things that I started doing was right at the beginning of 2020, I knew people wanted to go on coffee, so I would encourage them on a virtual coffee. So I took a picture of myself smiling in my own Zoom camera, put it on a card, and as a joke, I said, to schedule a chat with Janine, press here, right? Because I build my own websites and everything. People absolutely loved that. They love that quirky humor. I even had one person write me back and go, I keep pressing the button and nothing happens. You know, these are the type of people I work with. These are my wonderful people. I then went on Canva and I happened to find a picture. I liked this picture of Zoom much better. And I said, it was lovely seeing you on Zoom. Every time I had a Zoom meeting with somebody, I always asked them for their address and then I would send them a card. What they didn't know was as soon as they gave me their address, I have a pre-made campaign. And this is the one I was telling you about, Ian, that you've got this and it's the water skier. It's like totally being overwhelmed with water. But I would send these cards and they were set up to immediately one card goes out and then every month, one a month goes to that person. So by them giving me their address, they're going to see me 12 times in a year, whether we ever reconnect or not. Now, of course, I always follow up with my people with an email or they see me on social media or something, but I also am double hedging my bet then by also building out these campaigns. For people who buy my $5,000 and high ticket programs, I have what I call my $37 plan for a client, which is I send them a very nice gift along with a year-long campaign that has cards that go to them on a special holiday in each month, as well as a card. So they're getting 2 cards a month from me. For my people who I just, they buy my lower ticket items, I put them on the $8 a year plan, and I have increased my price points so that it covers this additional expense. So how do you start with this system? Well, I highly recommend that you go to Amazon and you buy my book, The Thriving Solopreneur, or you can get it for free if you're on Kindle. I purposely set this book so that I receive 0 profit from it because I want you to be successful in your business. Also, you can take some of my courses on Build Your Business Bootcamp, where I walk you through in a 4-week period of time how to build the foundation of your business, how to create the habits of success, how you go about prospecting new clients, and how to keep contacts top of mind. I also have a podcast program called The Thriving Solopreneur. And one of the things that you learn when you start sending out cards is that you know when major life events have happened to your people a lot of times before their family does, because you get your cards bouncing back to you if they've moved. I then reach out and I say, hey, so-and-so on Facebook or LinkedIn, what happened? And I'm like, what did I write wrong? And they're like, oh my gosh, Janine, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I actually have people that will give me their forwarding address before they even give it to their family because they want to make sure that the cards follow them. So one of the ways you can set these systems up is that make sure you give yourself an hour a day to send cards if this is your happy place. Now, this makes me happy. I could hire people to send cards out, but this is my enjoyment. An hour a day, I'm being highly creative. I'm sending cards to people I know, like, and love, but you don't have to. If you want to get those campaigns rolling, you can hire a VA, and we have VA streaming services for that. But one of the biggest ways that you can connect with people, and Facebook will tell you when people are having a birthday, and I highly recommend that you take 15 minutes a day and sing happy birthday to people and then ask them for their address because you want to give them a birthday card. Don't forget that part of the 4-week system is being able to train yourself and your affiliates. So this was done for a lot of people that were in MLMs. So I was always saying, don't forget, you got to train your people on what you're learning. To show proof of concept, I went ahead and I started off with 289 addresses in April of 2020. I had a whole cohort of 28 people that I was running through this process. By December 16th of 2021, I was already up to 768 people and addresses. And then by November 10th of this year, I'm already at 944. I've since received 18 new ones. So I'm getting real close to pushing the 1,000 mark. So people talk about how important it is to have email addresses. And it is true. It is important to have list building, but I am in people's mailboxes and I have a 99% open rate. unlike email. So direct mail, you need to have email and direct mail. You need to be doing both in your business. My business has tripled. I had to add people to my team. And so what I recommend for you to start is access your current contacts. So go first to your phone. Make sure that everybody that's in your phone, you have an address for them. Ask them for their address. This is the perfect time of year because it's the holiday season. So make sure that you let people know, and they say, well, why do you want my address? Because I wanted to send you a card today. I was thinking about you and I don't have it. Oh, people love that. And it's not lying, it's the truth. You were looking through your phone, you saw them. The next thing is you can go to Facebook friends. Who are the people that are contacting and messaging you all the time? Do you have their address? If you don't, reach out to them. The third one is LinkedIn. A lot of people are not used to having people connect with them on an intimate way on LinkedIn. And so when Ian Kingwell, my upline, showed me the feature where you could leave voice messages for them, I started singing happy birthday to my LinkedIn contacts, and I get quite a few addresses for that. Do not be afraid to ask people for their address. Out of all the time that I have asked that, I have only had 2 people say no out of over 1,000 people who have voluntarily given me their address. Birthdays are excellent points of connections. Do not even begin to hesitate to sing happy birthday to them. It's very important with these systems that you establish these times in your calendar. And don't forget to set those times and stick to the clock. If you're worried about it takes a lot of time, realize that just like a garden, at first, it doesn't seem like anything is happening. And the next thing you know, you are being overrun with produce. This is my calendar. This is where I sing happy birthday. This is where I send cards for an hour. Here are the cards I have received back. This is very powerful because I take pictures of these cards and say, hey, your card came back. What did I do wrong? Just remember that when you're sending people direct mail, you sometimes give them such an intimate card that it's a keepsake for them. You forget, a lot of people do not get direct mail anymore. If you send them a picture that has you and them on it, it's a keepsake. The second thing is you're developing that relationship that everybody's talking about, relationship marketing, relationship marketing. You're doing that already. And the third and most important thing is you've gotten people off of the social media and you are actually in a 3-dimensional space with them with that card. And I am Janine Boland. I am your financial first responder. And if you wish to sell this, these are my books. If you wish to purchase my books, I also have 4 podcast programs and I have the 3-minute money tips. And it has been my delight to serve you. One of the things about cards that you may not know about is these brownies. If people have had me on a conference or they've had me on a podcast, I always send them brownies along with the thank you note. But thank you for allowing me to speak to your community. If people have said, but what if they're allergic to brownies? Well, they get this groovy, frolicking flower that I make sure that they have. It's about the same price as the brownies and people love it. They love it. So why did you get into business? You got into business because you wanted to make a difference and you had a vision for the type of person you wanted to be and the type of people you wanted to serve. So get started sending those cards on Saturday because you never know who you may be serving and whose day you may brighten. Dun, dun, dun. There you go.
That's a lot of really good information.
That's okay. That's why I record it.
I'm so glad.
That's why I record it. So I give it back to you guys. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll upload this to YouTube. Okay. And you can click on the little gear button and make me sound like a chipmunk and just, scan through that way. I always tell that to my students because they're like, sometimes you talk so slow, Mrs. Boland. I'm like, you can just click on the gear and make me sound like a chipmunk. And they're like, oh, right, I forgot about that.